Halfway through today's race in Michigan, we talked about the race to the chase and Jeff Gordon being back in the danger zone starting the day. He was 6th. Right now he's in the garage, and he would only be, as they run now, 67 points to the good heading to Bristol. Mike?
And Alan, Jeff Gordon just took a peek at the replay. What'd you see?
Well, originally I thought that I ran right into him because you know, my spotter didn't say anything till the last second. He said 2 cars on the outside instead of 3 wide, but you know, ultimately you know, I mean, we're responsible because our pit stops have just been terrible today. You know, we finally get an awesome race car, and we just didn't have the total package today, and it's very disappointing. It's kind of been the way our season's gone. When we get the pit stops awesome, then we can't get the car right. So, you know, what are you going to do? I just hate that got the 48 involved. You know, we always try to have a lot of respect for one another out there, and you know, it got really dicey there on that restart, and we were 3 and 4 wide, and you know, my car was really good, rolled through the middle there, and I guess Tony got to the outside of the 48. And even with my spotter not saying anything till late, I still gave him, I felt like, enough room, but it just got so narrow off of 4.
Of course, with just 3 regular season races remaining after this week, you've got to start thinking about points. What type of situation does this put you in now?
I'm relieved because we've been going every week going, well, we can't take too big a risk, but we got to push, you know, hard enough. I'm relieved. Now we can just don't worry about anything. Just drive as hard as we can, do everything we possibly can, and just go, you know, all out. That's all we can do, and we'll see where we end up.
Well, obviously a disappointed Jeff Gordon, Doc.
Mike, Jeff Gordon has won a race every year for the past 14 years, dating back to 1993. He now has a 28-race winless streak going on, and trying to be able to hang into the chase. The season for Jeff Gordon, for you Jeff Gordon fans, you may want to plug your ears. It doesn't sound 39th at Daytona, 43rd at Texas, 29th last week at Watkins Glen, and then who knows today. Can they get this car back on the racetrack?
Yeah, but we're going to Bristol next week. We know how good he is. Probably the only other 2 people who come to mind are Darrell Waltrip and Rusty Wallace, and they're not racing, so he's got a good chance to get it back next week.
Yeah, and he had such a good car, as he said here today.
Here we go.
Speaking of good cars, 99 car, Carl Edwards.
Yeah, I'm watching Jimmy Johnson to see how his car is right here. He's right up front with these guys. He's a lap down, trying to get this lap back. Let's see if his car is still as good as it was after that contact.
A.J. Allmendinger got the lucky dog. Jimmy Johnson was about to go by him. If the caution hadn't come out for another 20 seconds or so, it would have been Jimmy Johnson who would have been able to get back on the lead lap.
And his problem now is we typically don't have a lot of cautions here, so even though these guys are racing awful hard, he's going to have to rely on that. I don't think his car is good enough to go up there and pass Carl Edwards right at this point in time.
He's in a good spot, though. He's in that spot to get the lucky dog if the caution does come out right here.
There's David Reagan, and we've talked about this young man trying to bounce back. There's the 6 car of David Reagan running in the top 10 all day. Great pit working right now. He's holding a solid 5th position.
He ran a really good race here the first time and has been even more solid this time. Looks like they learned a little something from that. We see Dale Jr. down on the bottom here trying to right behind David Reagan and Matt Kenseth. But he's just has done a good job. He's got himself, each restart, got himself in a good spot. Dave?
And you guys referred to it earlier today. David Reagan going into Watkins Glen. Not a great place for him. Jimmy Benning told me this morning we had a team meeting before we went to Watkins Glen. We said we need to get through this. Well, it was a tough day, finished 30th. We had a meeting after Watkins Glen. Now we're going to Michigan. This is what we do better. We will do better next week. They lost points last week, but they're making the comeback here.
And Dave, the point is, with some of these guys in this bubble that sounds so tight for the chase, David Reagan stands in pretty good position. I mean, he actually could make some ground up here back in 14th position. He was 67 points behind the 12th position to be able to get in there. So he's obviously going to help himself. He's got 3 more races after today to get there.
And I think what he's got on his mind right now, though, he has a good enough car to get himself up there and be a factor in this race before it's over. And I think that when he can see that front guy, he's going to have a little more than that on his mind.
Andy, one of the guys you talked about before the race today was Kevin Harvick. Yeah, he qualified 38th, but he was 2nd fastest in happy hour on Saturday.
We heard him in the pre-race show say the only lap that he hasn't run well is qualifying this week. He's got a good car. You see him right here running with his teammate Jeff Burton. He's poised to have a good finish today. Dave?
Andy, I got to tell you about this 29 car today. It's been so loose all day long. Last pit stop, Kevin told crew chief Todd Barrier, tighten everything on this car. You know how to tighten. In that last short run, his comment was way better. Good day for the 29 now.
Couple of Toyotas tangling for third. Kyle Busch will come out with the position.
Yeah, we heard Dave talking about how loose Kevin Harvick is, and everybody has been loose. We heard Dale Jr. say, do whatever it takes to tighten this thing up. He was not the only one saying that.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what these guys say about their cars now that they only have 2 tires on it. Sometimes that tends to tighten the car up, so it'll be interesting to hear their comments as they get a little further into these runs.
It's like Kyle Busch likes his car.
Yeah, bottom, top, doesn't matter right now. They keep making adjustments and making him better and better, and once again, he'll show up at the end of this race up right at the front, as he has many times this year.
You just saw Edwards flash by. He's 1.2 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch, who is yet to lead today. There's the 83 of Vickers.
Yeah.
One of the drivers who ran really well here back in June, in fact finished second, was the 9 car of Casey Kane, and he's had a bit of a struggle here thus far today. Jamie.
He really has. Everybody's talking about their cars being loose. Casey Kane is no exception. We haven't talked about him because he started back there in 32nd. He's worked up to 23rd, but they have thrown everything at this car. They've even tried shock adjustments on their pit stops. Also struggling on their pit box. It's so tight. They wanted to take 2 tires on the last stop. They couldn't. They had to stay there. They ended up taking 4, but DJ, is what you just said. 4 tires may be a good thing for Casey Kane.
Yeah, that's Casey Kane, this 9 car. Surprises me that they're not any better than that here. It's kind of like this team's kind of up and down.
You know, the one thing that I see and have heard, that they brought the same car back.
A little bit of a touch for Hornish. He gathers it back up. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, they keep bringing that same car back, and that's understandable. You get good cars like that. But these other people, as we've heard, are bringing back new generation cars that are a little bit better, and you have to keep up. You have to make that change.
It's
Would
all
you think,
relative.
Andy, that you got to do that?
It's all relative, and we heard in the pre-race show Jimmy Johnson say that the pace of this field is 4/10 quicker since June. That's how much these guys have learned since then.
28 is Travis Quapple. Watch Quapple and Hornish. Whoa.
There was a good reason why he made that little bit of wiggle. We saw him on the first or second lap of the race get into the wall, but he's run extremely well. Here we're on board.
Just a slight
Clear, outside.
Sam Hornish said, you know, I body slammed those barrels at Watkins Glen last week and still ran the rest of the race, so, you know, I can take a little nudge every now and then. 99 car. Carl Edwards picking up where he left off here on Saturday when he dominated and won the NASCAR Nationwide Series event.